The Department of Education says about half of U.S. adults ages 16 to 74, that's about 130 million Americans, read below a sixth grade level. A new book called Reading for Our Lives, a literacy action plan from birth to six, tackles the issue head on. It says our current approach to reading is failing, and ensuring literacy success must begin at infancy. First on CBS Mornings, the book's author, Maya Payne Smart, joins us right now. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Now, you said that you wish you had this guide when your daughter was an infant. Why do you think it's important to start so early?
I think it's important to start so early for a couple of reasons. One, so that we can take advantage of this amazing brain growth and development that takes place for kids when they're birth to 3. And also, it makes you a more knowledgeable parent as your child approaches school age, so you can make better decisions about school and advocate for curriculum and other things.
So when we think about infants, we think about bedtime stories. But you say it's so much more than just reading books at night.
Absolutely. So bedtime stories are really important for building oral language and vocabulary. But with the little ones, we can also do a lot of brain building through conversation. So it's really about that responsiveness, the back and forth exchange with little ones.
How often should parents be reading to their kids? Because I'm thinking, you've got a new baby. You're just trying to get the kid to go to sleep a lot of the time and stay asleep. I mean, how often should you be doing this?
Establishing a daily reading habit is wonderful, but I like people to think beyond bedtime because that's not the best time for a lot of families. And also, I want people to recognize that particularly with the infants, it really is about those back and forth exchanges and even treating their coos and babbles as if they were a conversation. That's really asking
responding
questions.
To it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So really thinking of it as a dialogue from day one.
I really like that part of it because for a lot of parents, like reading a book to their kid at night, the parents are out of their mind, tired. They got another kid who's screaming for something. The kitchen still needs to be cleaned.
Are you speaking from experience?
I'm speaking from absolute experience.
It's autobiographical, Tony.
Eloise does not get a bedtime story, and I struggle to get through Teddy bedtime stories, right? But what you're saying is actually that for parents who have those limitations, as all parents do, they shouldn't beat themselves up. The conversation can actually be a big part of it.
Absolutely. The conversation is critically important. All those words that you speak to a child, all the things that you're labeling and pointing to, all of that oral vocabulary is important for them when they one day need to recognize it in print. It is important as they get older, let's say 3, 4, to start bringing their attention to print. So dragging your finger across the page as you're reading so they understand text moves from left to right. You forget that little ones sometimes think we're reading the pictures.
Right.
So they aren't even tuned into the print. But I also like parents to know that you can take advantage of print on cereal boxes or a graphic T-shirt or a street sign. Wherever there's print, you can talk about it.
Oh, that's super smart.
And Tony mentioned some of those things that causes fatigue. As a parent, you're just dealing with life. So you're tired at the end of the day. What advice do you give to parents that struggle to find time?
Parents definitely feel stressed and fatigued and distracted. So the key thing is to remember that you're already spending a ton of time with your child, and you can build these simple literacy practices into everyday life. Meal times, diaper changing times. So these are all opportunities to sing nursery rhymes and, again, have those back and forth conversations.
I feel like you also have to get other people involved. Like I'm going to visit my new nephew this weekend, and I'm thinking, okay, Aunt Jamie needs to maybe sit down and read a book.
Absolutely. Lean into your community.
That's huge. That's huge. To what extent is technology kind of the reason for declines in literacy, if there are declines in literacy?
I don't think that technology is necessarily a reason for the decline in literacy, but it does distract us from doing some of the things we need to do to build it. So parents on their own devices takes away time from reading the stories and having those.
And then they're not talking either.
Right.
Yeah, you're just scrolling.
Oh
exactly.
So what are some of the biggest takeaways from your book?
I think the biggest takeaways are start early because there's so much brain growth and development that happens in those early years with your child. And again, it makes you a savvier, more informed, knowledgeable parent as they approach school age.
Maya Payne Smart, thank you so much for joining us. Reading for Our Lives is on sale now. Make sure you pick it up.
Start those conversations today. You can
start it early
right now. There's Maya. She's on TV. Thank you very much. That's great.